Hi, and good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Top of Mind. I am Ray Vaza. It is Thursday afternoon, 2:30 Eastern Standard Time. Today we've got, this is Keith Urban, and the name of the song is Till Summer Comes Along. We were chatting a little bit about some of Cam's favorite artists. Everyone knows if you've watched the show, I usually play a little bit of music as we kind of intro here. So if you've tuned in before, welcome back. If you're a first-time listener, welcome for joining us today. So Cam was saying to me when I talked about favorite artist, he's like, Keith Urban. So I said, fantastic. Put a little Keith on. We'll listen to this for a moment or two. It's got a nice feel, Cam. Like so, I have a feeling like Keith Urban is like summer nights. You know, you're down by the dock, right? You got the candles going.
Yeah.
I like that idea. Oh, nice. I like this track. This is a great one. Nice. Okay, I'm going to turn it down just a little bit there. I will put that on pause. That was great, Cam. Thanks very much, man. Awesome way to open up today.
No problem.
Okay, beautiful. I'm just going to check and see. So I am recording right now, and I know that we do have a few more people that are going to be joining us, but Anna, great to see you. Welcome. And Nicolette, I believe that you've joined us before. It's so nice to see you again. And I see that Joe is on. He might be at the job today, so sometimes Joe's video pops on, sometimes it doesn't. I'm not sure about Beauty. And we have one other person connecting right here. So we'll see if we got anyone else that jumps on. Usually between like 2:30 and 2:35, everyone is kind of, you know, realizing, oh geez, it's time, right? And they tune on in. So I hope everyone's been having a great week. I was trying to do this outside on my back porch today, hence the tank top. It's a hot day today. If you're in Ontario, it's a really hot day today. If you're in the rest of Canada, I don't know what it's like, but I'll tell you, my backyard, it is sweaty, hot, kind of hot. I'd love to be up at the cottage. I'd love to be up on the lake. That's for sure. Just while we're waiting for everyone to jump on, I want to talk a little bit about today's session. So our guest and our speaker is going to be Cam Baker. And Cam is he's a young guy. He's a really impressive guy. We'll mute that right there. Sorry. A really impressive guy, real estate investor, still full-time student, right? He still is completing his education right now. And he's also he's got his own business as a property manager, and a pretty active property manager at that. So I asked Cam to come on and join us today because we want to talk about property management, and there's a lot of questions in and around property management. We're going to get into all of those kind of details. We're going to talk today about what property management really does. So let me just put that. We got to mute here.
Hey, you.
Just going to mute you there, Joe. Okay. Yeah, we're going to talk about what kind of services a property manager provides, what you should expect when you're having a conversation with them. What do they typically charge? Timing. When do you bring it on? Do you learn to do the things yourselves? Do you bring a property manager on right away? When are you required to have a property manager? So that's what today's going to be all about, which is going to be great. And then hang on to the end, folks. I do have a little bit of an announcement to be able to make. Okay, Joe, I'm gonna put you back on mute there, my friend. You keep popping off mute. Did you want to say something? I'll give you a chance, Joe. Pop on now if you want to say something. Hi, Cheryl. Great to see you. I hope you're doing well. Good. Okay, Joe, I'm going to keep you on mute then. Okay, so without further ado then, I would like to, Cam, I'm going to take you off mute there, which is fantastic, and I'm going to put you on speaker view. So,
You got a style.
Sorry about that, Cam. Are you there?
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Okay, sorry about that. We had a little bit of an overlap there. So everyone, welcome Cam Baker to the show, Top of Mind. Cam, thank you very much for being our guest here on Thursday afternoon. How is the day going for you so far?
Oh, it's good. Yeah, it's good. It's hot, but yeah, it's a good one. Can't complain.
100%. And where are you coming out of today, Cam? Where are you based out of?
So I'm in Woodstock, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah, kind of between London and Toronto. And
Gotcha. Excellent then. So Cam, you're a hardworking guy. You're a really busy guy. Would you mind telling everyone kind of, you know, where you're at in terms of your age group right now?
Yeah, so right now I'm 21, turning 22 next week. So we'll call her 22. But yeah, so I'm still in school at the University of Guelph. It's a Bachelor of Commerce program, major in real estate. So I'm on third year, second semester, I guess, right now, kind of thing, around that time frame. So
Wow.
we're
Okay.
getting to the end, thankfully. But it kind of all started, I guess. I've been interested in the real estate thing for a while, but the property management side of things kind of started because of school, sort of, I guess.
Okay.
Um, it was, yeah, I guess you can kind of for school, but so last summer for May, I was supposed to be on a co-op. So they have at Guelph, they have this big board where you go and you look for all these co-ops and everything. And I wasn't finding anything that I liked. I just wanted, none of it suited me. I applied for a few things here and there, but it just really wasn't for me. And then we happened to be, a few months back in January, we were at a Keyspire Summit, me and my dad. And we met some investors there, Jamie and Leslie Collard. And so we were talking to them. And then a few months later, we were talking to them kind of about an investment opportunity and just chatting like normal. And they learned I was looking for a co-op, I guess, and about my program and stuff. And the timing just worked out really well. They were looking for a property manager because they had two big buildings that they were starting that they were going to be closing on in Brantford. So it all worked out really, really well with the timing. So I started with them last May, I guess, around May.
Okay.
And started doing the property management with them for, like I said, the two buildings, 22 unit and a 6 unit in Brantford. So we've been kind of going through that, and I learned a ton, and still learn an absolutely ton from them. But yeah, it was incredible starting out with them. And then yeah, since then they kind of just said, well, you might as well kind of take it your own business route. So I did that, and kind of expanding with them and with some other investors since then. So yeah, then that's kind of where it brings us to now, just kind of doing the property management, trying to get some school in there, and trying to build up the investments for sure. So the investment side of thing too. So kind of balancing all three.
Yeah, kind of balances all three. So these are not small things, Cam, and especially for a young man of your age, right? So I'm not going to say you're amazing because of your age. You're amazing because of the work that you're doing, right? But typically, I'd say I know what I was like at 21. I did not have your drive and focus, right?
Yeah.
My focus might have been on other items versus starting a business. Learning about investing in real estate, completing my education, all those sorts of things, right? So you've given us so much to unpack in just your intro. So thanks for all that.
Yeah.
But let's just talk it through right here. So I do want to mention to everyone, if you have questions, please drop them into the chat. I've got it up right here. So happy to be able to facilitate questions as we go along. If you want to be able to take your mic off and ask a question or have a dialogue, we can definitely do that as well. Simon, great to see you as well. Thanks very much for tuning in this afternoon. So Kim, like here you are, you're going to school, right? You're at a conference, you have a good conversation. You said you've got your folks there. You met a couple of investors, Jamie and Leslie Collard, and now you start having the conversation around the property management. Was this a plan for you? Was something just organically kind of developed throughout the conversation? Like, did you want to say, I'm going to go to this conference. I've got a goal. I want to walk away with some great interested people that I can start doing property management services for?
Yeah, honestly, no. I had, looking back when we went to the conference, I barely even, like, I knew what property management was because we had a few rentals from then, but I would never, ever have guessed that it would turn into this. It was more so just going to the conference. We just wanted to meet as many people as we could. We were just kind of really starting out, and we just wanted to meet people and just learn and soak everything up, which we did, which was the best part of it. Just meeting absolutely as many people as we can. It was nothing with property management. There was no business, nothing then when we went to the conference. So it just worked out, and it worked out really well for sure.
And obviously you're a guy that sees opportunity and you don't sit on it, right? You move when you see opportunity, right? You get going on it, you mobilize right away. So, so you're coming out of it. Now you've got 2 buildings. You said a 22 unit, and what's the other one?
It was a 6 unit.
Okay, so you're now responsible for 28 units. You took that all on. How has that process been for you in terms of developing your business and from where you think you started to where you are now? Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so it was good. The 28 units combined there, it was a lot of time with them. It wasn't just like a turnkey building. So we had a plan with that with those two. I guess the same kind of thing. It was a reposition strategy with those. So it was a lot of time, like the 22 especially, and still am probably normally about 2 times a week. So it's a lot of work. And at the start too, just the calls and everything, and you're just starting out learning all about all this stuff, and just trying. It was tough at first for sure, just balancing all these calls. It was just everything was brand new to me. But yeah, they were great, Jamie and Leslie, just helping out along the way and just collaborating together. It worked out really well. And then so yeah, it's a lot different now, where I know most of the time more so what to do or say and kind of what they want done,
Mhm.
which is good. But yeah, at the start it was a ton of learning for sure.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt. Right.
Every text was something new. Then I was like, oh, I don't know what to do with this or this. But yeah, it's a lot different now, which is good.
And overall, Cam, in terms of you've got the Collard Properties as one of your clients right there.
Yeah,
So you're growing your business, right? Obviously, you've got a lot on the go, so you have to be careful around how you grow your business and how much you take on. So
for
how
sure.
do you manage these three kind of going, demand things in your life between school, your business, as well as your real estate investments of your own?
Yeah, well, kind of luckily with the school thing, I was so before first year and second year. First year I lived at school, and second year we had a house off campus. But third year, I decided that I was just going to live at home because I was on a co-op for 8 months. I didn't know it was going to be with the Callers, but I knew it was going to be on a co-op for 8 months, and it didn't make sense to be paying for a 12-month lease if I was only going to be there for 4. So I decided to just um, commute and live at home, which was good. So yeah, that's kind of how that came about. So I was living at home, so it definitely gives me a lot more time to focus on the real estate and the property management. It makes it a lot harder from home trying to do the school part of it, especially when I have to drive an hour each way just to get to a class. It makes it tough to go, but I made it through it. I did one semester, the January till that semester. That one was the first one I did from home. It went all right. It was definitely a learning experience too, but I think it was for sure the best to be working from home, and I can really focus on the real estate and the property management.
Excellent, excellent. So, Cam, you've given again, right, for the audience that doesn't know you, you've given a great insight to kind of who you are, right, where you're at, where your stage is, all that sort of stuff. So, again, thanks for sharing all this information with us. We do want to dig into some questions now. So, we want to kind of get a
Yeah.
little bit into the. So, let's just talk about property management overall. So, give us an overview of the types of services that you provide when you're talking to a prospective client, right? They've purchased a property at this point in time. Let's say, either they've had it for 5 years or they've just purchased it, but either way, they're now looking to engage a property manager. What kind of things are you going to be able to talk to them and take over for them?
Yeah, so I think the big thing is it really depends on what they want, how involved they want to be, and like you said, if they've had it for 5 years, it's probably gonna be a lot different than if they're just kind of buying it and what their whole plan is with it. So yeah, it varies a ton, basically based on what they want. So yeah, if they've had it for 5 years, maybe they're getting more into it, buying some more units, and want to focus their time or goals, whatever, on other things, not have to worry about the management side of things. So I would think in that case it would be more, they kind of want to be more hands off, kind of just let the property manager kind of deal with this, what they deal with.
Mm-hmm.
If they're just kind of buying a building, maybe it's a bigger building that just kind of, you need kind of that assistance, the middleman in there to help. If it's a reposition or just a bigger project, sometimes you get the property management to start with right off the bat. So yeah, then sometimes they want to be more involved, and because they still are very active in it, if it's a very active project, then they want to be more involved. So yeah, I think it really depends. Obviously, it's always the tenant communication. I get the maintenance things, the complaints, and all the tenant calls, anything like that, you name it. That for sure. Sometimes it can be the bills, the rent collection, leasing the units is very common. And yeah, if there's other little things too, just having flexibility to add those in is important too.
Fantastic. So it sounds like when you're having the conversation or someone's approaching you, it depends on what they need in terms of the building itself, what the project on the building is. But you do provide some basic level services that you talked about, which is, doing the tenant management, handling the tenant communication,
Yeah.
taking care of the utilities, right? Making sure that, utilities are being paid, administering the rent collection itself, right? So making sure that the rent is all being paid and that, every single month, or you're reporting them back to your client and saying, great, we've had, 100% of rent collected, or, maybe it's, someone is late. So you're giving them a status report and what the next steps are. Is that the kind of process that you would be doing with a client?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, the rent collection, all that. So basically for how that aspect works is the rent comes into me throughout the month. I get the bills, I've been paying all those kind of just as they come in. But yeah, so the rent comes in. I have a good idea. I have a big spreadsheet on who's paid, if they paid their full amount. Then on the hasn't, take the proper procedures from there if they haven't paid on the second. And then yeah, it's a simple thing to the owners. They get the breakdown on this is the money that came in, this is the money that came out. And that normally gets deposited into their account on the 3rd or the 4th, just depending on the next business day. So just the difference between that. But yeah, then that's always a conversation on, this unit, this tenant didn't pay, they got an N4, that kind of thing. So they know why some units they had no rent in. Now normally it's kind of a trend. We know, well, this tenant's always late or this person's not paying, that kind of thing. So it's pretty obvious. It's pretty consistent. And we're pretty lucky. Even throughout COVID, it was high 90s of rent collected, which was good. Even in the bulk of it, we were pretty happy with that. So yeah, we're used to knowing who's paying. It's pretty consistent month over month.
So there's a comment right here. So great info there for us. But Nicolette is commenting right here. She's saying we're investors in the 30 building, or the 30 unit is what I'm assuming she means there, or at 30 Chatham. So I guess that's the
30
address.
Chatham.
30 Chatham. Yeah. Thank you for posting the progress photos on Facebook. So you're also dealing with some of the updates for the investor pools. Then you're putting up the Facebook posts. You're letting people know what's going on. All those sorts of things.
Yeah, so the 30 Chatham, that's the 22 unit that I talked about a bit there. So yeah, it's a big project. There's so much going on. It's crazy, but it's been really cool to see. So yeah, I do a lot of that. I just like seeing the progress. So I take a lot of pictures at the buildings for everyone, just before, afters, and all that. Just a little bit of everything. And then so I normally post them. There's a special Facebook page for the investors on those projects. So I post them on there so everyone can see too.
So, I think that's fantastic. And that's what you were talking about, based upon, the client's needs, right? It may not just end at the property itself. It might be, so on this building, you guys are doing some renovations, some upgrades, you're improving the overall building, right? So you're turning some people over, and now you're taking those pictures and you're giving those updates. So that's a great service as well. I mean, so what don't you do, Cam? Let's let's go reverse engineering. What won't you do?
A while ago, Jamie and Leslie, they had a presentation. They thought I had maybe a few photos, and they asked if I could throw a slideshow together for them. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. So I looked on my phone. I'm like, holy crap, I had hundreds of photos. So this long slideshow went on for 10, 15 minutes, and just new photos. They're like, we don't even have that many photos of the properties. Like, well, sorry.
Okay, so it sounds like everything but windows at this point in time is really what I'm hearing, right? No laundry and no windows. So this brings us to an interesting point right here. And you just talked about, the COVID period and the rent collection right there. So as a property manager, what did you find, right? So you're saying almost everyone paid, but did you have challenges? Was there situations where you had to make payment arrangements for folks? Did people reach out in advance? Did you guys reach out? Like, give us an idea, because a lot of us, now we've gone through it, but there is still a question mark out there, right, of what could come. So tell us, how did you handle it?
So yeah, I think it worked pretty well what we did. I think also helped too. A lot of the tenants we have in there are really, really good tenants. But yeah, basically what we did was, when this was kind of all going on, we reached out to everyone about a week or so before the first of the month, and just said, like, rent still is due, but we're here to help, that kind of thing. If you lost your job, like, just reach out to us, and we'll help. So yeah, we had a handful of people reach out, kind of worried and stuff, that they one of them, they've lost their job or whatever, or hours were due. So we just assured them like it's okay, like it's not your fault. And we knew like in some of these tenants, they're really good tenants. They've never paid late before, so we still followed the proper procedures, but they knew that we were there to help them, and they could talk to us and tell us this is when we'll be getting it, and they knew that for sure. So that helped. We had a lot of communication going with those tenants, especially, and yeah, it all worked out. They all eventually paid. There's of course some that are more difficult that they heard the announcement, if you can't pay rent, don't pay rent or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So some are taking that, and those people you just can't really. There's not like they're just so difficult to deal with. There's nothing you can do. But I think there's maybe 1% kind of thing who are like that. The rest are they want to pay if they can. If they can, they want to figure out how they can pay and keep up, and they don't want to fall behind in rent. So with the people like that, it's easy and it's good to help them as best you can for sure, because they're good people and they just need some help, obviously, because it was a difficult time.
No doubt, no doubt. And I mean, I say this in a complimentary way, but dealing with you must be fairly easy, right? You're a really nice guy. You're not coming off like the evil landlord.
I try.
You're coming off, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, right. I mean, you're not weathered and old and wrinkly and coming, you know what I mean? I'm here to just take your money without care kind of thing, right? So I'm sure that it does help. So Cam, let's get into some quick questions for everyone here, because I said that we were going to cover them. So let's talk about overall so now we've talked about services and what you can provide, and you've even said, above and beyond, right? So being able to really help the owners as well as the investors, as we've seen here. So let's talk about when somebody is looking for a property manager, what are some of the things that they should be looking for? And what are the things that really, if they come up, what are those red flags that they need to be aware of right away?
Yeah, so I think, like we said, like the flexibility, like I like to be super flexible, like with the client and the investors and everything. And because I just, it's so great just to have all the experience and like learn from all these investors. So I'm not nitpicky on if there's one or two little things here and there, like that's not a big deal. So yeah, definitely flexibility. And yeah, and like you mentioned too, like I don't like to be mean or rude to the tenants if you don't have to be. Like just having a good relationship with them, I think is huge. I think the tenant should like the property manager and feel comfortable reaching out to them and not feel scared to tell them about anything, or else it's going to cause bigger problems if they're scared to tell them about a leaky tap or something. Like I hope all the tenants feel like they can let me know if there's a problem, and because they know we'll fix it, or if something's up, like that they can reach out to talk to us because they know we're going to treat them with respect and stuff. So I think that's important. So the tenants feel valued, because they should be, for sure, because they're a huge part of the business. If we didn't have tenants, then it'd be completely different. So definitely someone who has a good relationship with the tenants, but also knows like the rules, and if they're not following the rules, knows that there's consequences. So yeah, someone that's not going to let everything fly, but also treats them with respect, and that I think is really important.
I think that's such a great point that you made there, Cam, which is, you want the tenants to be comfortable and have the open line of communication with that property manager. You want them to understand that this is a safe place to be able to live, and that you're on top of the situation. And it's not an animosity kind of relationship, right? It is we're here to be able to make sure that things are being looked after, so that, to your point, right, if they're paying good value rent, they want to be able to get that good value experience from the living.
Exactly.
So then let's talk about, we talked a little bit before, but in your experience, right, if you're a new investor and you're just starting out and you're purchasing a property, and, so give us an idea, right? If it's a residential, let's say they're buying, a single family home up to, a triplex or maybe a fourplex. Is that something they should start to consider a property manager for right away? And then I'm going to ask you the same question. So, then when we get into the commercial space, which is typically, your 5 units and above in the multi-family space, what should they consider there? So let's start in the residential space first. So I'm a new investor. I'm purchasing a duplex out there. I've been able to purchase the property. I think I've got a little bit of understanding about things, but should I really reach out to a property manager now, or should I start to just figure it all out on my own and then see how it goes?
Yeah, no, that's a good question for sure. I think it depends on like a lot of factors. Like if you're close to the property, like you said, your experience level, your time, how much time you have. If you have a full-time job and you're trying to do this, then maybe you don't have the time, or maybe the time you're putting into managing it's not worth your time. Depends on your goals. I think if you'd rather, a lot of people obviously do real estate for the time freedom, just want to spend time with their family or go on vacation. So if that's impeding them from doing that, then yeah, I think they should for sure. But if it's just like a single family, do something on the smaller scale like that, kind of getting started out, I think it doesn't hurt to, is if you kind of sort of know what you're doing, to try it yourself, and then you learn so much. And as long as you're willing to learn, I think it's good to try it. And even if you had a relationship with a property manager, to kind of, you're still managing it, but kind of you can have a communication with them for whenever, if you need some help, say, oh, we got this situation, we can, what would you do, kind of thing. Or even done it like, some people just want help finding a tenant. Then once they know they have a good tenant in there, then they don't mind kind of taking over themselves. But yeah, I think to start out, I think it's a good experience doing it yourself. If all the other boxes are checked, you got the time, and it's not ruining your goals or the reason why you're doing it, then yeah, I think it's good to start learning. And then you can also kind of know what to expect once you hire a property manager, if kind of what you like and what you don't like, that sort of thing. But yeah, I think once you get up more to the commercial stuff, then maybe it starts to make a lot more sense to you, because then it's more of a business. You're getting to that side of things. So yeah, then I think probably it makes a little more sense, because you're obviously trying to get more into it. So then that kind of gives you some more time back to let off the property management side of things.
So it's like great answer there, Cam, and thank you again for sharing it, right? Your insights are so spot on with regards to understanding what your goals are, understanding what your time is, understanding what your skill sets are, your proximity to the property. So if I'm buying something in, if I'm buying it down in Windsor, for example, right, for me, that's a 4-hour drive. If I need to be able to go ahead and get something fixed by 12 o'clock, guess what? I'm on the road at 8 a.m. That's no traffic.
Yeah.
I hope that I get there and then I fix it. Let's say it's 45 minutes of a repair. It might not be that complicated, but you get the job done, everything like that. Well, now I'm 4 hours back, right? What did I do? I spent 8 hours of my life driving to be able to do a 45-minute repair. Like, is that really the value? Is that a good exchange of your time for value? In my opinion, I would say not worth it for me. But again, everyone's at a different level. In terms of your commercial insights, I think you're spot on there, right? You're buying these bigger buildings. It is now a business, and you want to be able to run that accordingly, right? It's not just a hobby at that point in time. You really want to be able to have a proper property manager in to be able to deal with it. And you said it earlier, and I want to pull it back out again, but sometimes you need that intermediary. You need that party in between ownership and tenant to be able to have that buffer in place. It's almost like you're Switzerland, right? You're not upsetting anyone really.
Yeah.
Just explaining the rules, right? You want to make sure that everything is going well for everyone, right? So you kind of come off a little bit as a neutral provider.
Yeah, no, that's a huge point for sure. Especially once you get into ones that there's a reposition or anything like that, then that is huge for sure. And one thing I would say, even if you are managing it yourself, you definitely have to say you're the property manager. It just gives you that area to say what you need to say instead of getting begged and all that, because they think you're the owner. So if you're the property manager, you can kind of play good cop, bad cop. We do that all the time. It works really well, that whole thing. So even if you're doing it yourself, I'd highly recommend doing that. It helps so much with so many just little things, but it just makes a world of difference for sure.
I'm sure that it does. I'm totally sure that it does. So we talked about it a little bit before. We're going to save the one interesting horror story. So everyone, hang on for that. We've got a fun story that I was saying to Cam. Like, we don't want to scare everyone, but at the same time, like, let's let you know what happens when you're dealing with different tenant situations. But you've given us a lot of great insights here, Cam, into your business and into the world of property management, the timing, the skills, the services, the benefits of working with a flexible property manager that could take on some more. Let's talk about overall charge, right? So, when I'm running my numbers on a monthly basis, when I'm looking at those properties and when I'm budgeting, what kind of numbers am I looking at for a property management? Is it a flat fee? Is it a percentage? Is it based upon time at the property itself? Like, how does that all work?
Yeah, I think everyone does it different, but I kind of like to keep it simple, and just kind of, it does depend a little bit based on the property what the fee is, but normally around like 7.5 kind of of the gross rents is kind of what I'm at. And then I do like for the leasing, and it depends on the size of the building. Sometimes some of these aren't necessarily in there, but like a 50% of the rent for a leasing, and whenever a unit turns over, just because that's a lot of extra work when the units come up for leasing. So normally just charge something there, or normally about 50% for that. I know a lot are a lot higher, probably closer to the 10% range. Some with like full month of leasing. And yeah, I don't like to charge. Like I know some like they have different fees. I'm not even really sure what. I've heard some charge like for, it was some silly, like if there's a call after 5 p.m., which is when most of the calls happen anyways, there's some fee on there if it's not an emergency or something. I'm like, well, like I don't like doing anything like that, and I just like it straightforward and easy. It shouldn't be like a 50-page letter on just the fees and everything, in my opinion. But just simple, easy. Like that's about it. Sometimes there's some incentive things in there. Like if they're doing a big reposition, a certain amount for every unit turned over, that kind of thing, just things like that. But obviously it's all talked about up front, and just it depends on the portfolio size and the building and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm normally around that range.
Excellent. And I think everyone caught it, but we'll just recap it one more time. So we're talking about 7.5% of the gross monthly rents is on a monthly basis that you charge as your fee. And then in terms of, being able to place a tenant, screen them, get them signed to the lease, we're talking about a half month's worth of rent, right? For a standard 1-year lease is what we'd be talking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. And then interesting, you talked about, a potential bonus structure when they're doing a turnover of a building, right? So I'm assuming that, as you can work with people to be able to, help them find a better place. Maybe the unit's in horrible condition. Maybe the building has fallen down around the wayside kind of thing, but now you can help them get to another place. That's going to benefit the owners, the investors, and ultimately now you're able to provide another service level.
Yeah, that's always that's quite a bit of especially some tenants who older, they don't even have anything. Like now units are posted on Facebook, GG all online, those sorts of things, but some tenants, they don't even have internet access, so trying to find a unit for them, like they can't find anything in the newspaper anymore. So sometimes I am literally finding them a unit and giving the new guy or girl landlord the number to say like they are a good tenant, like just contact them, that kind of thing. So yeah, we actually had that a few weeks ago. She was looking for a place, but she's like, hey, I haven't found anything in the newspaper. I'm like, I'm not surprised. And I'm like, well, I'll help you out. And so I've been looking on some more active sites like Facebook and stuff, and kind of showing her through there. And she's like, oh, wow, there is actually some things out there. And
okay, so we didn't talk about this, but you've just piqued my interest right here, right? And I want to pause and allow for anyone else to come in with some questions, and then we're going to get to the horror story, and then we do have the announcement that I want to add in right here. But so it's interesting, right? Like as an investor, I speak with realtor about pocket listings and off market. You're talking to wholesalers, people that want to assign a property, all that sort of thing. So those deals that are off the market.
Yeah.
For you as a property manager, do you have the same kind of, maybe not, it's not as deep or as wide, but do you have the same kind of access to, that units are coming up, or you hear that this is available? Like, are you having those kind of conversations so that you can say, hey, I know that it's not listed, but I could do this, this, and this? Is that something that kind of comes or flows to you?
Sometimes, yeah. Like sometimes we'll have tenants look at certain units, say in an apartment building, and they have a dog, and sometimes like, well, it's not really great for the dog. Honestly, I don't say that, but this one tenant, they were really good. They came to look at an apartment building, and I just didn't think it was a great suit for them at that building. But I knew we were going to be having one coming up in a few weeks. Small town, backyard, same kind of price range, all that sort of stuff. So they ended up being shuffled over there, and they absolutely love it there. It's perfect. So I always say, like, if there's a really good tenant, we'll find them a place. But yeah, I get reached out to all the time for people looking for a place if I have this or that, and it's hard for that because it's obviously limited units. But if there's an exceptional tenant, then we'll find them a place for sure, and we'll find something that suits for them and that. So yeah, on that aspect, yeah, I try to do that for sure. The kind of the off market thing for units for tenants.
That's fantastic. That's great. One more tool in the toolbox, right? That you can offer not only the tenants, but now, to a potential new client that you want to be able to take on their property services. Okay, all right. So anyone that has any questions, feel free. If you want to unmute yourself, you can do that. If you want to drop it into the chat, do that. We'll give Cam a second to have a sip of water here. It has been a really, really great series this afternoon. And, you know, I love coming on. I love doing these kind of learnings. I find that I benefit from it. It's nice to be able to just chat with you, Cam, as well, right?
Yeah,
You know, I think it's been probably about 8 months, 10 months, something like that we have been kind of having some touch points along the way and getting to know each other a little bit better. So
yeah, awesome.
yeah, it has been really, really awesome. No doubt about that. And, you know, I got to say, right, like, you know, you're a little bit, what am I? I'm more than double your age. Let's put it that way. Right. So how did I do, Anna? I saw a good laugh there, right? So I'm more than double your age. So when I see what you're doing, I'm really impressed, right? And I go back to my first comments about, you know, you should be too, right? You should be proud of yourself. You're working hard. You got your head on your shoulders, right? You got your feet on the ground. You're delivering a great quality service. You've got good quality clients, and you're growing, right? And you've got a vision for the future. So, you know, you're a guy that I want to watch, right, as you continue to go in the right directions. Now that I've pumped you up and made you feel good, right? You had your chance to be able to take your breath right there. Let's hear it. Okay, this is the one story, that really horror story that we want to let people know that, hey, sometimes in the world of property management, it's not all sunshine and roses with regards to, you know what I mean, signing leases and, you know, doing all that kind of stuff. Give us that one story that just makes you go.
I'm trying to think. There's so many different little ones, but I'm trying to think of, like, I'll say two shorter ones. There's one at a unit. We had someone, there's coin operated laundry. And there was someone for months who was stealing laundry money. He used to not a he was more of a he worked for a subcontractor of the building. They were doing the epoxy floor. So the company had access to the office. And so he got the laundry key. And I felt bad because I remember it's a big building. There's a lot of money coming in for the laundry. And once I kind of started taking over, the money just kind of started going down. And I'm like, I'm not taking anything. Like, I just felt bad. And we knew someone was stealing it because the slots weren't locked and everything. So after a while, we tried for months and months. The camera was down for a while because the laundry room was under renovation. But eventually it was like Easter Sunday. And I was sitting there. I just happened to be watching the camera because a tenant let me know that the machines weren't working. So I knew that it was definitely stolen from, because that's what always happened. And I just happened to be watching it, and it's on motion. And I seen him go in, and I've been trying for months. Like, the one night I watched for probably 2 or 3 hours, and it's just hard because there's so much motion but I just happened to watch him, and I'm like, and I see him walk in with a little baggie, come in there, kind of look around, quickly take some money out, and then right then we're like, that's it, we have him. And it was a great feeling. It was kind of just, it was like, I don't know about a horror story, but it was awful. I felt terrible, and we were just trying to solve it for so long. And kind of related to that story, so he was charged, and I don't think he's allowed near the building. But I was there a week or two ago, and we caught him a couple months ago, I guess. And I'm doing some fixes kind of in the lobby, kind of working on the intercom thing. And I see a guy walk by and kind of look at me, and then I kind of look at him, and I recognized him. And like, immediately I'm like, that's the guy. And so I walk outside, and I try to get a hold of him because I know he's not supposed to be anywhere near the building. And he's seen me, and he starts walking as absolutely quick as he could. But I finally got the attention of him and just had a chat with him and reminded him that he's not allowed near the building. And then he kind of just scurried off, and that was that. But yeah, I don't know if that's a horror story. I can't think of. There's so many just little ones, I guess. Another one, I guess, when COVID was starting, it had changed everything with leasing. So I did video showings and all that, which I'll continue to do because it's been great. But we had this tenant. She was really good. She's seen the video. She's seen the pictures. She got approved. Everything was all done online. She was super excited to move in. But she had this boyfriend, I guess, that we didn't know about. And they move into this unit, and it's a smaller unit. And she moves in after just seeing the video, which wasn't great. But we couldn't really do showings at the time and everything. And immediately after she moves in, it's just complaint after complaint after complaint. And then her boyfriend starts calling all the time, and he was crazy to deal with. He was something else. And basically it ended up like he was just threatening. And it was just absolutely crazy. He was like looking stuff up on me, like his mom was a realtor, like looking stuff up about the owners and finding all this stuff out. So we're like, we do not want a tenant like this. We like nice tenants, good to deal with. The girlfriend was nice. She was great, but it was just the boyfriend. And so we ended up letting them out and filling the unit a couple weeks later. But we're like, that was just awful. Like just some people, and it depends. Like there's people all the time. Like every day there's a story of someone and it's always the same people, the same 5 or 10 people that are just terrible to deal with and just make things difficult. But they'd be the 5 or 10 that make up for 90% of the stories. But they keep it interesting, that's for sure.
Oh my goodness. Well, I love Laundry Stakeout. We're going to name the first one Laundry Stakeout. I think that is a fantastic one. And, you know, again, for everyone who's listening right there, I hope you caught the watching for months, right? Watching for months. And he said, I've been watching for 2 to 3 hours that night, right? So try and think about how busy this young man is. And, you know, the fact that he's doing that, right? I mean, so many people will be texting, or I don't know what the young kids do anymore, TikTok or whatever the new thing is, but whatever they do, right? It's not what you're doing. That's for sure. A couple of questions that have popped up right here. Nicolette is asking, do you have a team of trades that you can call on for anything you can't do? So something breaks, Cam, it's out of your abilities. What happens then?
Yeah, so we have, it depends on the client too. Like certain clients have, if they've built a team, they normally have people on their team that they like to use. So normally that's kind of what we do. If not, there's, especially in this local area, there's quite a few trades that we've built good relationships with and like bringing business to them consistently. So yeah, but a lot of the time it is the client, if they have big portfolios, they have contractors working for them full time. So in those cases, we always use them. But yeah, if not in the area that I'm in, yeah, we've definitely been working with the same kind of people and kind of trying to get a good relationship with them.
Fantastic. And then Simon is asking a question right here, and he's saying, how do you get them out? Cash for keys. So I think specifically he's asking about that example you gave of the lady with the boyfriend there.
She wanted out. As soon as she moved in, she wanted out, and that's why the boyfriend or whatever was threatening, saying we better give him all the money back and everything, and all that, and how we were doing illegal stuff and price gouging and all. He was gonna call the police, all this stuff. So they wanted out, which was good. So we ended up giving them a slight refund, something we agreed on, and they moved out. So that wasn't cash or keys. We do that with other things, but not in that case. It was just they wanted out, so we didn't want someone who was in there like that and super unhappy. So
great. Anna Scott has got a comment right here, and James made another one as well. James says, "What a well-spoken young man," and I have to agree, James.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, if this is your first touch point with Cam, he is such a well-spoken young man, and he is a sweetheart and a half, right? If you hear him tell the story, and I have to think, Cam, somewhere in your family, because of the couple of ways that you've spoken, it almost feels like you have a police officer or something in there in your, like, you got an uncle, you got a dad. I mean, I know you got a dad, but like, do you have any police officers in your family? Because a couple of things the way you spoke, I'm like, ooh, that almost sounds like the way that a cop might talk.
No, we got a firefighter. An uncle is a firefighter. A lot of teachers in the family, but no cops. No.
Okay, all right. Anna Scott says, "You're amazing what you do, but do you take time off?" And then I think it's a great second question, which is, if you are taking time off, do you have a backup, Cam? What happens when Cam needs to be able to do exams, life comes up, or you need a weekend to be a young guy that enjoys life?
Yeah, so I honestly, I love doing all of it. So like I never feel like it's overwhelming. Like every day is awesome. Like it's great. But yeah, a few weeks ago I was away I was like 2 or 3 days, nothing much, but I was just in an area that I didn't have service, or else I could have just done it all kind of from my phone. So I didn't have service, so I had to set up my mom as she just sent my voicemail, like if something called and it was an actual emergency. So my mom got a few calls, the emails bounced over to my mom, that sort of thing. So yeah, that would be kind of the backup plan, kind of having my mom or someone else take charge for a bit. And she had a big list of, if this happens, like, I know this is the thing, or like call this person, call this guy, this or this, if it happens here. It was a big sheet of explaining everything. And so that was kind of the backup for sure. But yeah, most times, like I just take care of it, and it doesn't feel like work ever. Like, it's just great. I can do it from anywhere too. So that's nice. So even if I'm away for a day somewhere, if I get a few calls, it doesn't bother me.
And the mindset too, right? I mean, James made a nice compliment about how well spoken you are, but your mindset is fantastic as well, right? The fact that you don't see this as real work, right?
Yeah.
You're learning, you're enriching, you're kind of setting yourself up for the future as you continue to build. Yeah, Cam, it's great talking to you, right? And trust me, there's so many things that I take away as I'm having this conversation with you, just little things that I'm noting, that I'm logging, that I'm just filing away as we're going on through. And that's really what I try and do on these Thursdays, which is, have people on, we have some great chats. Some of the people that are watching, they've been, speakers, and it's always great, right? So I really do enjoy it. I want to thank you for your time, right? I know that you're a busy guy, so you coming on, and it's not just the 1 hour. We chat for a few days in advance. We had a call the other morning. We spent about 45 minutes chatting away on that one. Yeah, so Simon is asking a question right here. So Simon and I actually connected not that long ago, probably in the past month or two. Great guy, he's out of BC. And Simon is asking, I missed this part of the session, but how many clients and properties do you have now? And he's paying you a great compliment saying you sound very level-headed and easy to deal with. He is, Simon. But in terms of clients and properties, give us an idea where you're at right now, Cam.
Yeah, so mostly, like I mentioned, it's mostly with the collards. I'm not sure exactly how many for them right now, but it's probably like the 75 range for them, and then maybe another 70 range for them, something like that. And they have another 30 something coming up in the summer. But then for others, it's probably another, with our stuff, maybe another 10 or 12, and then some other. So it's probably around 90 to 100 units. Building wise, maybe 20-ish buildings with about 100 units, but some of those are bigger buildings. 90 to 100 would be my guess, between like 3 to 4 clients kind of thing. Yeah, some clients I just have done some leasing things with, and they kind of take over from there, that sort of stuff. But yeah, 3 or 4 clients and about 100 approximately.
About 100 approximately. That's great. And then for yourself, do you own any of your own properties, or do you have any joint ventures or anything like that?
Yeah, so we have 2017. We kind of got a little bit of education, myself and my parents. When I say we, so then we bought a little semi-detached house in Woodstock, and it's been great. We didn't know a ton, but we kind of had a little bit of education, so we bought that, and it's been awesome. More of a turnkey one, but it works out well, and we had great appreciation, which was lucky. But anyway, so we want to get into more active things, we're doing some more renovations, kind of forcing appreciation. So we bought a 4-plex last September that I'm partners on with them.
Exciting.
We're working on that. We should have that done by the end of September, all 4 units turned around and rents up there to where we want them. And then we just had a duplex that we got in April. That was more of a quicker project that we finished in about 2 months, quick renovations. And we have those rented now. So that one's done. Then we're going through the refinance on that now. But yeah, those 3 are all in Woodstock. So
exciting. Yeah, it is great to hear all about your portfolio. Simon, I'll say this: if you want to reach out to Cam, so this is the chance, Cam, where you get to tell everyone if they're interested in talking to you a little bit more, if they want to talk to you about your property management services, maybe they want to talk to you about about doing some investing on a property together. Maybe they're out of province and they like today, and they're saying, hey, you know what, maybe I can give you a phone call or I can send you an email. How do they get hold of Cam Baker?
Yeah, I can post my number and email in there. Either or works for me. I can post them in the chat if you want, or whatever you normally do. But yeah, I love just chatting about anything, even if you just want to chat or had a question. Like, I don't mind at all. Like, I just love learning about what other people are doing and seeing all that side of things. So anytime, even if you just want to chat about what you're doing, I like chatting and learning from other people and stuff.
Post it in the chat right here, so everyone's got it. And you're on Facebook.
Yep,
so
on Facebook.
I can find you if I search Cam Baker. I see you there. You've got a profile, and then it's Baker Property Management.
Yep, exactly.
Awesome. And are you on any other social, like Twitter or a new cool young platform that I've never heard of because I'm not 20?
No, I'm not too big on the social. I guess maybe when I was in high school, I was a little more into it. But yeah, I have them all, but I'm not too big into them. I have Instagram, Facebook, all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I'm not too huge into it. Facebook, I'm on most. That's probably the best way to send me a message, or the text or email, of course. But yeah, I'm on Facebook, and yeah, that's kind of the I'm not too big into the social media thing as many are, but
Well,
I have.
that's why you got time on your hands, right? We can totally
Yeah,
tell. Like instead of tweeting, and I guess kids don't even tweet anymore. I don't know what I'm talking about, right? Whatever kids are doing, right? You're not doing that stuff. Cam, it has been fantastic. I do want to say thanks very much for providing your time, sharing your knowledge, your expertise, sharing your story with us. Giving some really good and valuable insights in terms of property management, how to engage, when to engage, what to expect, and the kind of flexibility in terms of really making that a long-term relationship that totally works. You need someone that has that flexibility. So I think that it's huge. So with that, everyone, before we wrap up today, it's not something that I normally do, but I just wanted to take the opportunity and do it. Anna Scott is on the call here with us. And I wanted to let everyone know that Joe and I have been active. We're actively working on our 16-unit building in Aurelia, and we've been able to post some great updates there. But another opportunity came up, and of course, we just couldn't say no. We had to go after it. So with this particular opportunity, it's also in the Barrie area. It is a really interesting one. It's a new build opportunity. And at this point in time, we're working with Anna and her team on really doing the funding. So Anna has been fantastic at it. So I don't want to go deep into the details of the deal because honestly, Anna, I don't know what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not allowed to say, but why don't you unmute yourself so that I don't get myself into trouble right here. But I did want to let everyone know that if you're interested in a passive investment opportunity, this is one that Anna can give you all the full details about, as well as let you know where we're currently at and where things stand. So Anna, I'll kind of throw it over to you.
So thank you for this opportunity, and thanks, Ray, for allowing me to come on and talk a little bit more about the project that I'm working with you. So I am a Keyspire member, but I'm also a recently licensed mortgage agent, and I work with Kyle Ford through Mortgage Alliance. And Ray and Joe approached us about this wonderful deal that they found in a prime area of North Barrie. It's actually a 3 adjacent lots. It's one large corner lot of which there are 3 separate lots. And there are 3 poured foundations for what will be 3 duplexes, essentially. So these guys found this, the sellers had, unfortunately, were not able to carry it through to fruition because of some additional costs that it would become a non-profitable operation for them. But the, excuse me, sorry about that, but this opportunity that they found, they could see beyond that. And one of the things that is different about it is Ray and Joe want to actually buy and hold these buildings and rent them out because of, it's great for that potential in this area of Barrie. So there's actually 2 components to the capital that we're looking to raise on this project. They were able to get this property for $50,000 under asking. It's they were acquiring it for $800,000. The original asking was $850,000. There was an appraisal that came in last Thursday that assessed it at $810,000. So there's already equity in the buy. These guys have really found a great prime piece of land here. So we're looking to raise the $800,000 on the first position mortgage, and then to finish the buildings, to build them, the 3 duplexes essentially, there is another component. It's a $1.1 million raise, and we're looking to do that as a second position mortgage. So the terms of the first position, it's 10% interest plus a 1% lender fee. So that will be 11%. It's a 12-month term, and it's going to be open. The second is the construction loan side of it, which is going to be 12% plus a 1% lender fee. So just to recap, $800,000 first position, 11%, second position, 1.1 million that we're looking to raise, and that's at 13%. So what we'd like to do ideally for the first position mortgage is have 3, possibly 4 investors. So each of 200,000 if it's 4, or 3 at 266,666, which is 800 divided by 3. But what we'd like to do as well is we want to do prepaid interest up front. So that means then that you don't have to advance. There's a net advance. We would take the interest off the advance. And so, for example, on the 2666, you would only have to advance 237,666. And if you were doing the 200,000, the net advance is 178,000. Yes, James.
Take you off mute there, James.
Yeah, okay. So then no questions. Okay. So the exit strategy then is the builder has indicated it would take 6 to 8 months to complete the buildings. The buildings are all going to be built concurrently at the same time, and then this allows a 4-month buffer for Ray and Joe to acquire institutional financing, to conventional financing, to then pay back the private lenders with the institutional funding for the first and second. Okay, and yeah, the after repair value, assessed value that they've been given is $850,000 per building, which then makes it 2.55 million. So great deal, great find. 800 in, 1.9 to 1.1 to build, so all in 1.9, and a year later, the assessed value will be 1.6. Sorry, 2.6, 2.55 million. Okay. So if anyone has any questions, I'll put my contact information in the chat box, and you're welcome to reach out to me, and I can provide you with more details. Okay. Thank you.
Anna, that was great. Thank you so much. Anna does such a nicer job at kind of laying it all out than I can. She's so succinct and just lays out the deal and the numbers really, really well. But yes, this is something that we did come across, and we saw tremendous value. We saw the opportunity, and sometimes they say, you know, you buy other people's problems and you create your own solutions. So in this way, we did. We saw an opportunity. We saw a problem that the other people were in. You know, they're now happy. They're able to move on to a project that they can put their money into. We're able to pick this one up and really, you know, hit a home run is what we're expecting on this thing. So yeah, do reach out to Anna if you're interested. But at the same time, I never want this to be a platform about me. It's about the people that come on. It's about, as investors, we can connect, we can share, we can learn, we can do a little bit of networking. That's the true intention. But at the same time, a little bit of shameless self-promotion never hurts either. So with that all being said, I want to thank everyone for joining us this afternoon, for coming on, and really thank you again to Cam Baker, our guest today, to be able to really enlighten us all around property management. If there are other questions, anything like that, you can always reach out to me. I'm on Facebook, right? You can hit me up there. You can send me an email, info@BV&Co. You can give me a phone call if you want to, 647-780-2670. Hit me a text message, whatever. I'm always around, folks. So I'm looking forward to seeing everyone again. James, great to see you. Thanks for joining in. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone hopefully next Thursday. Have a great week. Bye now.